like that song. One of my favorite things is finding new songs and new videos that lift my soul and hopefully yours as well. Good morning. I'm Reverend Bill Lyon, your minister here at Heritage Universalist Unitarian Church, where love is the spirit and service is its prayer. Our theme this morning is faithful defiance. Love, courage, and the soul of democracy. We'll explore what it means to rise together in covenant and in conscience as people of principle and courage, guided by love. And our worship associate today is Valerie Dubé, who's going to get us started. Valerie?
Thank you, Reverend Bill. Can you hear me all right? Good. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Heritage Universalist Unitarian Church. Whether you're here in the sanctuary or joining us on Zoom or watching later, I'm Valerie, your worship associate today. If you're new to Heritage, a special welcome to you. Please sign our guest book, which is right outside the double doors, and be sure to provide your email and check the box to receive updates from us if you so want some. I can get a temporary name tag from the ushers, or they'd be happy to help you request a permanent one like mine. Gary Wilson, a member of the Board of Trustees, there he is, hi Gary, is available to answer questions or offer a brief tour after the service. If you're visiting online, you can learn more about us at www.huuc.net. Everyone should have an order of service, a piece of paper in front of you, and on the back of it are the announcements. And before we begin, please take a moment to silence your cell phones or any other devices so that together we can be fully present for this sacred hour. Once again, welcome. Whoever you are and wherever life has taken you, you are welcome here in this community of love, courage, and hope. We have a few special announcements. Reverend Bill, would you like to help me with those? Sound good?
Sure thing. Sure thing. I think there are actually a lot of happenings around here.
Yes, yeah, like today, there's something that's happening after service. What is that? I believe it's called Reimagining Communication 2.0.
Oh, yeah. That's right. It's right here in the sanctuary. And we're going to be talking about our vision and how to make the vision we have of how we can communicate better within and beyond our community. All are welcome.
How about next Sunday? What's happening then? That was very exciting. But,
yeah.
And yeah.
Well, next Sunday is actually pretty special. It's our Thanksgiving homemade bread communion, if you recall that. And you know, a homemade bread communion is always better if we have bread. And we have one person who's volunteered to bring some bread, but it's always great to have different kinds of breads, and we could especially use some gluten-free bread. If anyone could help us out, let me know. The other big thing, though, is really, really big. It's a really big tree.
Yes. Oh, it's the Christmas tree we'll be decorating after service and after we have our bread communion in the Great Hall next week. And it's really nice. It's a wonderful church social activity. I've gone to it pretty much every year, and it's just fun to get all those ornaments out, all the tree branches, and put them all together. And it really transforms our sanctuary, makes it look really beautiful for the season.
Yeah. There's one other big thing on the horizon. It's the Holiday Bazaar that we're doing, and it's not until December the 6th and 7th, but it'll be here soon. And next Saturday from 2 to 5 is another great all-family opportunity for kids and adults to work together at making some of the crafts that will be sold. So we're encouraging folks to come and make one to give, and then take one home with you. So that should be fun. And I know that team could also use other volunteers, so keep an eye out for the announcements on the back of your service and elsewhere, and reach out to Kayinsky. If you have some time you can offer. If you happen to need childcare, it's important you let Bethany know. Bethany's in the very back helping with sound today. We can arrange it, but we have to know that you need it.
And I think that's about it. I'm going to be working at the bazaar on Saturday, so if some other people sign up, I'll see you there. So,
all right.
I leave it to you to offer our call of worship.
I can do that. And thanks for bearing with us. We're trying to make announcements fun. You know how we could just read the back of the order of service to you? Let's gather. And Selah, if you want to make your way up, you can. We gather this morning in a spirit of love and courage, love that defies fear and courage that refuses to turn away. We come together to remember that faithfulness is not quiet compliance, but steadfast love rooted deep, like a tree planted by the water. We light our chalice for truth that guides us, for compassion that sustains us, and for the faithful defiance that will not yield to despair or indifference. That little white candle. Come, let us worship together. And may this flame remind us of who we are and who we are called to be. Let us rise in body or spirit and sing, when our heart is in a holy place, then remain standing for our covenant. When our heart is in a holy place.
By this covenant, we affirm that love is the spirit of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with God.
I'd like to invite any of the younger folks or young at heart to come up and join me. I keep meaning to bring a little stool over here so I don't have to sit on the floor where I probably can't get back up from. But I forgot again. So let's... You got a little stool there? All right. All right. Well, while I wait for that to happen, hi, everybody. Hoping you can help me out. Oh, thank you. How about right down there? I'm wondering, have you ever gotten mad? You have? Yeah? Anybody else gotten mad? Is there anybody who hasn't gotten mad? I think we've all gotten mad before, right? When you get mad, is it because something sometimes seems unfair to you? Never? Okay. Okay, you feel mad for other reasons sometimes. Sometimes. Have you ever had a time when someone was being unfair to somebody else and that made you mad? Yeah? Tell me, Sheila, what's that?
My friend Ellie, I always play with her, and, I don't think Charlotte gets a chance to play with us, too.
So sometimes when we play together, there's somebody who feels excluded from that playing together. That would make me mad if my friend couldn't play with us for some reason. Yeah.
When I was lining up at my schoolroom, someone that was my friend, his name was Lincoln, and he said he would kill me with a gun.
Oh my. Oh my. And even sometimes if somebody doesn't mean something like that, you have to feel scared. You didn't feel scared? Just mad. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry that happened. I'm sorry things like that do happen. So, boy, this is tough. I mean, you all have tough things to face. We all have tough things to face. People saying mean things, maybe saying they might do mean things to us. You had that happen too?
No, I was just raising my hand for a reason why I would get mad. Sometimes if I don't get something I want.
Yeah, that's good. So, so he said something very honest there. Sometimes if I don't get something that I want. So all these are reasons why people of all ages get mad, right? So when you are mad, what are some of the things we can do? Yeah.
Grown up that we're kind of mad, and then they'll fix it.
So we could, if we're younger, we could try to seek out a grown-up, or if we're a grown-up, we could seek out another grown-up, or we could seek out a kid to help us out and tell them. Share the pain we feel, share the anger we feel. I think it's a great idea. So, has anybody ever called you like a mean name? They have? Multiple times? Have any of you either called somebody a mean name or at least thought about calling them a mean name? There we go. We're being honest here, right? That's happened to you too? Yeah. So let's say I decided to call you a mean name. What would you probably want to do back to me?
Say I don't like that.
Oh, that's so good. That's not what I would do. That's not what I want to do. I want to call you a name, but his suggestion is what I should do is say that's nice. That's not nice, and then tell a grown-up. That's why I learn so much when we do these Time for All Ages. But there is a tendency, isn't it, sometimes if somebody says mean to me, for me to say something mean to them, and then they want to say something mean to me, and it goes back and forth. Oh, so glad you got here. Welcome, Crosby. Yeah. You got something else to say? We're gonna have to move on soon.
I don't know, but I forget.
That's okay. So I think we get it right here. There are things that can make us mad, and we have the choice of being mean back, but that usually doesn't work so well. And then sometimes when someone says something mean to our friends, and like your friend who couldn't play, sometimes a really brave thing to do is to speak up for that person. And that's tough because it means being kind and brave together. Kind and brave together. That's not always easy. So I would suggest a couple things. When that happens, you could take a breath. And then you could think about how can I be brave and kind together. Can you say that with me? Brave and kind together. Today, you're going to be out with, I think it's Remy's mom and some other people helping you learn about compassion, and maybe you can teach me some more things next time. All right, let's sing them out to a song that was written in honor of a man who taught us about how to be brave and kind at the same time, the Reeve benediction. Good, you can go out.
The life of this congregation is woven together with each of our individual lives, lives that know both joy and sorrow, hope and worry. Each week, we take time to honor the truth, trusting that shared joy is magnified and shared sorrow made a little lighter when held in community. In this spirit of faithful love and courageous compassion, we invite you to share what's on your heart today. Please come forward when you're ready. And if you'd like to come forward, please move to the side aisles now. And when it's your turn, Bill will either light a candle in silence for you or hand you the microphone. And you can briefly share your name and your joy or sorrow before returning to your seat down the center aisle. We also have our birthday anniversary jar right here for those who would like to celebrate by contributing to our memorial garden. And those joining us on Zoom are welcome to type your joys or sorrows into the chat so that we can be included in our circle of care. Are there joys and sorrows among us today?
There's another one I wanted to light before I light a final candle. This Thursday will mark National Trans Day of Remembrance. In a time when some of our most vulnerable are most at risk and being erased by certain policies, we want to hold them up, lift them up. Approximately 350 names will be read over the next week of folks who died by violence, and 8 of those in the state of Ohio. So this is for them. And this last candle for all the joys and sorrows that we may hold inside, or for those who don't have a voice, and we need to be that voice for them. That I'd like to invite you to join me in a time of reverence. Spirit of life and love, we hold in our hearts the joys and the sorrows shared today and those still carried quietly within. In a world that too often feels divided, may we find the courage to stay rooted in compassion, turn our anger toward justice and our fear toward understanding, and our love toward action. We remember, too, all those lives who have been lost to violence and hate, including our transgender siblings whom we honor this week. Let this moment of silence be a resting place for our hearts, a reminder that we belong to one another. We'll be silent until you hear the chime. Amen. Louise.
Hello, I'm Louise Lawari, and today as we are sharing our abundance, it will be going to Braver Angels. Before I tell you about Braver Angels, I just wanted to share with everyone, in case you don't know, we have a tradition here at Heritage that when we pass the plate, 100% of it leaves Heritage and goes to the organization that we've chosen, an organization that matches or works well with our vision, our principles, and our values. And today, that recipient is Braver Angels. So I wanted to, because our focus today is on our resolution for faithful defiance of authoritarianism, I want to take us back to September when we had our first listening session, when we asked all of you what you thought needed to be in this resolution. And the number one comment that you all had, the number one burning passion about what we needed to say in our resolution was find a way to heal the divide. We can't go anywhere with politics and protests if we don't find a way to heal the divide that's ripping us all apart. And that is exactly what Braver Angels set out to do. So the mission of Braver Angels is to envision an America with courageous citizenship where it is the honored norm, to renew civic culture and build trust across political differences. And their aim is to inspire and equip Americans to practice courageous citizenship across political differences through skill building, convening, and collaborative action. So their call is to do exactly what you said we need to be doing. Braver Angels offered a program here just last Wednesday night. It was through Greater Anderson Promotes Peace and Anderson Churches for Racial Unity, and Heritage is a member of both of those organizations, so we held that gathering here at Heritage. The idea was to look at our own inner polarization, how we inside ourselves separate from each other, and to begin to do that inner work that replaces that polarization with love inside us. All of the work that they do is so beautifully meshed with the work that we are doing here at Heritage, with our own commitment to rest in love, but with this call that we're now issuing to step up as they say, courageous citizens. So as we pass the plate, we ask that you reach into your hearts, share from your wallets, but also to share from your hearts. And I wanted to tell you that the offertory music this morning is a familiar melody that you may remember. It is "We Would Be One." We're not going to be singing the words, but as you hear the music, you may recall those words or just rest in the beauty of the music. So may this music remind us of the love and the courage and the conscience that can still bring us together. For all that has been shared this morning, the gifts of spirit, of courage, and of generosity, we give thanks. These offerings strengthen not only the work beyond our walls, but the covenant that binds us all here together. In that same spirit of covenant, we now hear from two members of our congregation, of the team who helped to give life to the resolution that we celebrate today, and to do the work that has truly been the modeled on listening, collaboration, and love in action. So I invite Karen and Mimi to come forward and share with the faithful process that we've gone through.
My story begins 5 months ago in Los Angeles. Remember? The U.S. military was deployed on domestic soil in response to protests against immigration raids. I wondered, what does this development mean? I don't know. But for me personally, that news was a tipping point. 2 months later, I found myself here at an open church meeting dedicated to protecting democracy. Their vision was to unite this faith community in faithful defiance of authoritarianism. If we could come together on this issue, then we could join forces with other faith communities for collective strength. Someone at the meeting mentioned that the key to meaningful change is getting a turnout of about 10% of the population. So by the end of that evening, I was on a team of about 8 church members charged with writing a church resolution for heritage. Immediately, my own mind started playing tricks on me, because that is what our minds do when we forge a new path. Here's its strategy. First, I feel discomfort because, well, I actually am outside my comfort zone. When that fails, it conjures overwhelm, suddenly reminding me of every other thing I have to do. If that doesn't work, it escalates to imagining possible threats to survival. Yeah? Yeah. But when all else fails, it pulls out its master tactic, imposter syndrome. It's like this little voice says, "No, no, you are not that." But you know what? I choose to be that. So, the resolution team began by inviting everyone to listening sessions where we collected your input. To those who attended, thank you. I want you to know your contributions were not only helpful, but also deeply encouraging. Next, we moved into the creative process of writing draft resolutions. Our goal was simple enough to focus squarely on a framework of shared values and spirituality, making sure the resolution was easy to read and reflective of who we are as a faith community. But when those drafts started rolling in, that was when the chaos started. Let's just say we had different options, not only for content, but also for fundamental style and overall tone of the entire document. Now, the problem with serving on a team defying authoritarianism is that you cannot use authoritarianism. Yeah. Without a strong central leader, we were literally forced to collaborate, to transcend differences of opinion, to seek consensus, and when necessary, to use the democratic process. And yes, we actually did all those things. Eventually, our chosen approach emerged. In the end, the final draft is a true mixture of voices, and we had a full consensus. Resolution team, thank you for your collaborative spirit and dedication to this sacred effort. It was a joy to work with each one of you. Please know this resolution comes to you with love and with sweat. We truly hope you find it easy to read, spiritually meaningful, and most of all, personally inspiring. Now it's time for Mimi to share more about the spirit of the resolution.
Thanks, Karen. Love is the spirit of this church. This is our covenant, our agreement, our pledge. We care for one another. I feel it every Sunday, welcoming newcomers, during Candles of Community, sharing our abundance, and especially at Closing Circle, where we reach out and take another's hand to wish each other peace and harmony, often twisting and reaching out to make sure that all are connected. This resolution I see as a further demonstration of our pledge, reaching out with our spirit of love to our neighbors, our community, our nation, and the world to defy hate, oppression, bigotry, and violence. Our UU faith demands this of us in our shared values: equity, justice, generosity, pluralism, all rooted in love. In our principles, the inherent worth and dignity of every person, justice, equity, and compassion in human relations, the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process, the goal of world community in peace, liberty, and justice for all. And from our sources, the words and deeds of prophetic people which challenge us to confront powers and structures of evil with justice, compassion, and the transforming power of love. Wisdom from the world's religions which inspires us in our ethical and spiritual life. Jewish and Christian teachings which call us to respond to God's love by loving our neighbors as ourselves. As is often said, love is a verb, it is action. So what action will we take? How will we love our world in defiance of rising authoritarianism? We will wear our shirts as a testament to who we are and what values we hold. Rally, march, carry signs and banners, boycott companies that do not support our values, write postcards and letters, call our representatives and hold them accountable, vote and encourage others to do so, hand out flyers, donate money to those who align with our values, make art, music, poetry, and dance, talk with those who will listen, listen to those with whom we disagree. James Tellerico, a state representative from Texas who is running for the U.S. Senate and a seminarian, says, democracy is a spiritual practice, the practice of listening to each other, of serving one another, of working together, of resolving our conflicts non-violently. It requires a deep love for our neighbors, especially those we disagree with the most. Together, we rise to confront and resist the forces that seek to destroy our democracy. Beloved Heritage family, Each one of us can make a contribution. How will you respond in this critical moment?
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
We shall be known by the company we keep. Karen and Mimi, you've reminded us just how great that company is. You and your team and the whole congregation that worked behind the scenes with you to make this resolution come to pass. That work is a statement of who we aspire to be in this moment. We're going to be known by how we love, how we listen, and how we labor together. And is there a Kleenex somewhere? I can't even make it through the tears that have been forming with that song there. 16-point font, and I still can't read it. How do we faithfully resist the forces of authoritarianism and fear without becoming what we oppose? Many of us feel angry and weary, uncertain that anything we do can make a difference. Yet this is precisely when faith must speak. And reminds us that the company we keep, past and present, shapes who we are and who we're becoming as a people. It's an old question, one our ancestors faced long before us, and the wisdom they left still speaks. This Bible belonged to John Burroughs. And in both the book of Jeremiah and the first psalm of our Judeo-Christian roots, they speak of holding firm, like a tree planted by the water. And even as I say that, like me, some of you may be hearing that gospel tune, like a tree planted by the water, we shall not be moved. Faithful defiance is like that tree. Despite the storms that may come against it and the drought that may stress it, its roots go deep. Being near the water and with roots that reach unseen sources below the surface, it draws life-affirming strength. Because of this, it can sustain itself and those around it that depend on it in tough times, like these. It defies the external forces that oppose it. For us, that faithful defiance is no mere aspiration. It's part of our spiritual and ancestral DNA. Seriously, just look at the history of our faith and you'll find Unitarians and Universalists instrumental in defiance of authoritarianism and oppression. Our forebears defined tyranny in many forms: political, racial, patriarchal, from Benjamin Rush and John Adams in the American Revolution to abolitionists like Lydia Maria Child and Frances Ellen Watkins Harper, to Reverend Olympia Brown and Reverend Eliza Tupper Wilkes fighting for women's rights. Each stood firm like trees by the water. Each of these prior struggles, much like the struggles of the civil rights era, was rooted in love and conscience, not mere outrage. See, defiance born of outrage alone is not enough. Theirs was sustained by faith, by covenant, by community. Their courage wasn't random. It grew from a theology of interdependence and conscience. Power with, not power over. Sustainable defiance of oppression, authoritarianism, dare I say fascism, is covenantal work. That's what makes this document so significant. It's what's unique about our faith. We are not built on hierarchical power, a power over others. Nor are we motivated by promises of salvation beyond this world, some coercive reward system to keep us in line. Instead, we yearn for, work toward, a more heavenly existence here and now on this earth for all. Universal salvation. This yearning is a radical departure from the idea that only a few select are worthy of life or blessing, or that salvation must be won through violence or punishment. Universal salvation at its core proclaims that no one is expendable, that every soul has inherent worth. Democracy in its best form seeks to embody that same sacred truth in our civic life. But salvation from what? What or who are the evils we need saving from? Well, depending on the audience and the context, that question would evoke different images, maybe even specific faces. Politicians, historical figures, corporate logos, voter blocks, or demographic classes of people, depending on where one is. And increasingly, in this polarized moment in history, there's a tendency to vilify whole swaths of our fellow humans. When we, or our favorite news outlets, pander to our primitive emotion of fear. But perhaps the powers that we're called to oppose are less visible. Perhaps they're embedded in our human institutions. Theologian and activist Walter Wink saw it this way. He argued that our culture, as viewed through the lens of religion and government, is dominated by a myth of redemptive violence. He meant that the belief that violence, punishment, or domination can somehow redeem us, that force will somehow save us. It's a powerful myth. It has been since before the time of Jeremiah. And it's pervasive. It just keeps showing up. It echoes in every war, military action, retributive lawsuit. And on a smaller scale, it shows up in our households, in our congregations, on playgrounds, and certainly in social media posts. If Walter Wink helped us name the myth that traps us, then Braver Angels offers one small practice that might help set us free. If violence is the false promise of redemption, then dialogue, honest, courageous human dialogue, is one of the ways we can reclaim true redemption. Now, before any of us become too smug about how much holier we are than those images we conjured up just a moment ago, I want to tell you about that workshop that Louise mentioned that was held here last Wednesday. Greater Anderson Promotes Peace and the Anderson Churches for Racial Unity hosted this session. Our offering recipient today, and if you didn't give enough, you can give more later. As we mentioned earlier, they're a nonpartisan group that offers tools for dialogue, for understanding across differences. And central to their vision is that phrase that Louise mentioned, courageous citizenship. That's what this resolution calls us to engage in. It's exactly what it calls us to engage in. It means acting bravely to address injustices, speaking up for the vulnerable, and collaborating across differences. And that's not easy work. It takes courage, it takes resolve, it requires introspection. The 40 of us who participated Wednesday were challenged to look inward. Our facilitator provided tools to help depolarize ourselves. What? Ourselves? We're not the crazy, wacko, nutjob, extremist, hateful idiots. They are. We need to depolarize them, some of us thought, maybe even said out loud. Maybe. The laughter in that room was nervous, just like here, because we all recognize a bit of ourselves in it. You remember that first principle that Mimi mentioned? Affirming the worth and dignity of every person? That principle, it's not just theoretical. It's a discipline. Depolarizing ourselves doesn't mean erasing right and wrong or ignoring where real harm is being done. It means holding fast to our conviction that every person's worth is sacred, even when their actions betray it. That conviction calls us to remember those whose worth has been denied through violence, our transgender siblings whose lives we honor this week, and to reaffirm that their sacred worth is not up for debate. Yet that same principle also demands that we see the human being behind every opinion, even the ones we find abhorrent. It's how we avoid demonizing others, how we rehumanize them and ourselves. It's going high even when they go low. It's universal love that offers a prayer of universal salvation. Yet while we are called to affirm the worth of every person, not so every position or policy. There are some vile positions and policies. We know them. They endanger our children, our neighbors, ourselves, and our planet. And overwhelmingly, they threaten the most vulnerable among us. Courageous citizenship means embracing our principles and opposing actions that violate them, and doing both with love at the center. We're called to do so now perhaps more than ever in our nation's history. In a recent article for The Atlantic, conservative commentator David Brooks sounds an alarm that our nation is sliding into something much less democratic. He says, one way to tell if you're living in an autocracy is by asking, do people feel free to express their dissent? He warns that when civic leaders stop saying what's really on their minds, something vital has already been lost. He reminds us that the erosion of democracy is not just about specific people, no matter how big their personalities may be. The forces we're up against are tied to Walter Wink's redemptive violence myth, often wrapped in a veil of righteousness, purity, and pseudo-morality, forces that feel dangerously justified in saving us from democracy. Brooks calls for a cross-class civic and social movement built around compelling narrative of what America should be, not only what it should oppose. Reminds us that nonviolent uprisings are twice as likely to succeed as violent ones, and that social movements, I love this, they're microcosms of the society they hope to create. This civic renewal that Brooks envisions aligns with what our faith has long proclaimed, that love and that justice are public virtues, not merely private sentiments. And that gives me hope, because I believe that we can be that microcosm. This church in Anderson Township can be that microcosm. The collaborative work of the team that created and brought us this resolution models this. That's what democracy looks like. That's what it looks like. You wondered? That's what it looks like. As Karen and Mimi explained, the resolution is our congregation's collective commitment to live our values publicly through action as well as belief. The actions we take in living these prophetic words can inspire others, and they can inspire others. And the way we do it, peacefully, faithfully, defying forces of oppression, authoritarianism, those are what will define us. Participation is a vital aspect of a working democracy. So we must act, not just wish or hope or even pray for change. We need to be the change we want to see in the world. And these are not abstractions. Our resolution names them plainly. You can read it. Siding with and supporting those who are marginalized or silenced. Joining in peaceful public witness for justice and democracy. Supporting issues and causes that reflect our values, and working to ensure every voice and every vote counts. It's right there. And writing. Take it home with you. And we may do this individually. Most of us already do. But what if we did it together? Showing up in our blue t-shirts, encouraging and collaborating with others, even across differences. What if that's how we were to be known? By the company we keep, the blue-shirted people. The resolution is a covenant for how we will be in this world, yet it echoes how we might act toward one another, in our congregation and in our families. This is transformative work work for us individually, for us as a congregation, and for us as a society. We are the microcosm of the society we wish to create. And for all who helped give those words life, we give thanks. For you remind us what faithful democracy looks like. Boy, I wish I could tell you this was easy work, though. That we could flip a switch or change the channel or just solve it in a single election night. That's not the way it works. It will take sustained resolve, faithful defiance, love, and courage to preserve the soul of democracy. And so we remain like that tree by the water, firm in our principles, defiant in the face of harsh winds, nourished by our shared values, especially love, sustained by roots that run deep, strengthened by our source of faith in one another. May we stand firm without becoming hard. May we resist hatred without becoming hateful. May we speak truth without losing tenderness. May we together keep the soul of democracy alive, like trees by the water. May our roots reach deep and our branches shelter all who seek hope. Amen. Friends, as we gather the meaning of this morning's work, let's speak together the commitments that shape our life together as a congregation. I've invited Mimi, who helped lead the process, to lead us in responsive reading. You've got it in front of you, or it'll be projected if you don't have it there. Please join your voices where indicated. And I don't know, if you want to stand, you can stand. I want to stand.
Together, in covenant and in love, we rise to protect what is good and just. We are called to act with hope, courage, and conviction. Guided by our values and our faith, we seek to build a just and compassionate society that upholds the worth and dignity of every person. We affirm that democracy is not a privilege we inherit, but a covenant we renew with each other. When fear and division threaten to harden our hearts, we return to the waters of love and conscience. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the fires of compassion and courage we tend together. To resist oppression without becoming oppressive, to speak truth without losing tenderness, this is our faithful defiance. Rooted in justice, guided by compassion, we will stand firm and keep faith with one another. Together, we rise in love. Together, we keep the soul of democracy alive. Amen.
Since I got you standing, why don't we sing? Why don't we sing, "We Are Building a New Way"? And then about partway through this, about halfway through, I'll kind of motion, and if you want to make your ways to the outside of the church for our closing benediction, that would be great. We are building a new way. As the flame of our chalice fades from sight, if somebody can help me with that, may its light live on in our hands and in our hearts. We've sung of building a land where love and justice grow. May we leave this place as its builders, rooted like trees by the water, faithful in defiance, gentle in spirit and steadfast.